have a lunch upstairs, and as many people will fit in the room, and as many people as our lunch will feed, we'd be happy to host you for lunch. So today we're excited to welcome Nicole Magnus, and she's going to be talking to us about success beyond the job offer, which is really important for everybody here to know. Nicole is a senior technical program manager at NVidia, and she's also serves on the board of directors for Girls Development. Nicole got her degree in computer engineering from Purdue A&M University, which is in Texas, and she's also got a certification in construction project management from Columbia University. Her IT career began in 2006 at Hewlett Packard's branch in Phoenix, Arizona, where she spent 8 years as a senior solutions architect and a product marketing and readiness manager. Starting in 2014, she started a career of residential renovation and business improvement project management as the owner of her own construction management firm for 5 years. She joined NVIDIA in August of 2020. Besides her work in the industry, she's on the board of directors, as I mentioned, for Girl Development, which is a nonprofit organization that provides affordable programs for adult women and non-binary individuals to learn web and software developing in a judgment-free environment. So with that, let's welcome Nicole.
Thank you. I'm just going to use the mic for a bit so you can hear in the recording. The premise of this entire talk, and I'll definitely leave a few moments for questions afterwards. I work at NVIDIA, and that was very kind. My career did not start at Hewlett Packard, but that's okay. I did work at Hewlett Packard years ago, but my career started over 30 years ago. And I know between then and now, the same problems occur. You go through your curriculum because this is what people tell you will help you be successful. And then you start applying for jobs, and your only hope, just get that job. And that's a very important goal. It's super important. On this side of it, being a hiring manager, then there's that look of puzzlement. I'm here, now what? And so I want to talk a little bit about developing from where you are today, and if you're about to graduate, it's not too late. But if you're still well within, say in year 2 or so, this will really help you all the way through when we start looking at beyond the job offer. Okay? So that's the purpose today. That's where it all came from. Well, let's just start at the end. Some of what Cheryl shared here, the parts that I want you to really take a quick look at, excellence by example. At work, I focus on I'm focusing on solutions that are highly valuable to the company. So I want you to think of you and your talent. How am I highly valuable to where I want to go? All right, so when you say, well, I'm just getting started, or I haven't gotten started yet, all of you have something unique to bring. So think about a company is not just looking for that person that, I got A's, or I can do this, or I can do that. You each have something special that only you bring. And I want you to think of, what could I say that is, and what can I develop on that? I'm also a life coach and for high performance individuals. And I teach a trailblazer sort of methodology. If someone's done it, I'm not really that interested. If someone hasn't done it, I'm very interested. So in industry, we're looking, especially here in Silicon Valley, we're looking for people who stand out. So again, how can I provide something highly valuable? How can I stand out? Don't do what your friends are doing. Find a way to stand out. And then the other part is leading transparently. That means, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous right this moment, but being honest about that and letting yourself be who you are and still coming to the table anyway. Okay, so that transparency is extremely important. Oh, I can see it. All right, so let's just get into it. So in your goal development, and I'm sure you've all been told, use SMART goals and smarter goals. I want to just make sure you understand a couple of things about when you're talking about goals. You do want timelines. You do want to set expectations. You do want to find a partner that can hold you accountable. But there's some other goals that I wanted to talk about as well, and those are the adventurous sort of goals. They may have nothing to do with your curriculum, but you feel like they enrich you, make you a little bit better. They really make you light up. I have a mentee right now who is just amazing in her creativity. And I said, just go do projects. It's what you love. Go do it. And I've watched on LinkedIn, she's publishing her stuff. And it's really cool. It's stuff I can't do. But be adventurous and see what happens. She's just trying things. And I want you all to feel like, oh, I could just try something. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. What you will see from yourself is, look at what I'm able to do. And just posting it is scary. What will people think? Well, I'll tell you what, if they're not posting, you shouldn't care what they think. Because having the courage to do the thing that you didn't know about and then post that's adventurous, that's very courageous. We all have to admit what our barriers are. And I'm going to show you some of mine in a few moments. What's keeping you from where you want to go? Like truly, I'm shy. I don't feel confident. I don't speak well. You have to identify what your barriers are. So as you're going through that list of goals, like, I want to do this and that, as you're listing, you also need to list what's going to keep you from your goal. Do you have people who don't believe in you right in your immediate circle? Do you have other responsibilities you have to take care of? If you write your goals and don't write down what barriers could keep you from those goals, you won't understand why it's so difficult. But once you understand what those barriers are, then you can start to work with them and find people who will help you solve what those barriers are. Self-exploration. It's getting a lot of publicity right now, self-development and, who are you and being authentic. I would say to you, where you are right now, learn to be more of you, whoever that is. It's so important. And all of us who've been in our careers for a while, we will tell you, we wish we learned this earlier. Be you. Be authentic. What does that mean? If you're goofy, use some goofy opportunities. You don't have to do it at work all the time, but feel free to be goofy sometimes. Have grace. Have grace not just for other people, like giving other people space. Give yourself space. Space to make mistakes. Space to feel less than you truly are. Space to let yourself down from time to time. Kind of get over it, as my mom used to say. And then that last bit is empathy. Empathy means that you may not share the same experience as someone else, but you understand that, one, you don't share that same experience, and two, you're going to give them room without judging them. So we're all excellent judges, including myself. So we need to back that out a little bit, because if you want people to accept you as you are, as I want people to accept me as I am, then that means I have to give them that same space. I have to give them that same empathy. So it's a different method of getting your goals together, but it's very powerful, because once you make your goal, which we can all do, we can all write a list of what we want to do, right? And then the next part of that is, how can I be more adventurous on that? And then, but what's going to get in my way on either side, whether it's a hard goal or just something adventurous? And then how do I get into that self-exploration part of, being authentic, giving space, and it went away. So I wanted to share what my it's here. It's just not on the screen. All right, that's okay. What I was sharing with you is my own self-exploration, what had come out of that. So my strengths, it's just not showing. All right. Technology always goes haywire, even in 2023. So some things that I understand about myself: I understand complex concepts. How many people can we get up here to unplug and plug? How many engineers does it take? Yeah, so understanding complex problems very quickly. So if you show me a diagram, whether I've been involved in it or not, I'm able to read it pretty well to understand what's going on. Well, that's an advance. Thank you. It takes 3 engineers and a photographer, just so you know. Communication and networking. Empathy. I love to learn. Totally love to learn new things all the time. I'm basically a student of life. What I don't know, I love to learn it. And the thing that I feel, one of the things that I feel super proud about is, should I smile more? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm unafraid to be in discomfort. Okay? So most of us do not stand in front of a room and talk to people. But I want you to be unafraid of the learning process, which is hard. If it was easy, everyone would be here. Everyone would be in school. Everyone would be learning whatever your major is. Everyone would be doing it because it's easy. It's like eating. Eating is easy. Not eating, that's strength. Okay? So get uncomfortable with the process of learning, where you're really challenging yourself and you're really pushing yourself if you're uncomfortable. But the other side of that is you'll learn it, and then you'll teach yourself, hey, I can do this. And we've all been there. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something that you think is intimidating, and then you put all your energy into it, and coming out on the other side, whether you celebrate openly or not, that personal power is amazing. So I do encourage you to learn to get comfortable with that discomfort and those challenges. Otherwise, it's just easy. So I say yes way too quickly. Like, sure, I'll do that. And I don't say yes to everything. I say yes to things that are in alignment with my mission. But I do say yes way too quickly. And then I have many weeks of where I'm trying to manage my schedule. And so that's a challenge for me, to stop and look back and say, let me get back to you so that I can really look at my calendar and be honest to myself and others. I'm not going to let others down. But that challenge for me is, okay, we only get 4 hours of sleep. And I don't want that to be an ongoing thing. And then I have a lot of high expectations of myself. I don't allow myself to say no often enough because I think that I just need to push harder. I think I just need to give it a little more. So those are two of many challenges that I have. So I want you to take from this in your own self-exploration. Sit down and look at what you do well. It's really important. It's really important to write that down. I like to tell people to write an exhaustive list of your accomplishments. And exhaustive means you write down a list, then you walk away from it. You come back, write 2 or 3 more things down. Walk away from it, come back to it, write down 1 or 2 more things. Go ask other people, write down the things they've said. And when you keep coming back and forth to your list, you know it's exhaustive when you've come back 3 times without writing anything on it. So be exhaustive. Why would you do that? It's because of those moments when we're all sitting in our heads saying, can I do this? Can I do this thing? Can I do this thing? And then you'll see your list of all of your accomplishments and run through them. Read them out loud to yourself. If you're in the closet, do that. In your private space, and just read through all the things that you've done that you didn't realize that you had done. And it changes the game for you. Thank you. So I want to talk about Carol Dweck's growth model. Okay? So there's a mindset of fixed, where you're born with it, okay? Born with intelligence, born with discovery, born as you are, and we're fixed how we're born. Then there's Carol Dweck saying, well, or it could be the growth mindset. So I've modified that a little bit to talk about comfort zone, fear, learning, and growth. We all know what the comfort zone is. There are no challenges in the comfort zone, and there's always lots of chips, okay? And dip if you like dip. But there's always good stuff in the comfort zone. That fear zone is where, it's just outside of where you're comfortable. And that's where we hear all the inner voice stuff. That's where we hear all the bullies. That's where we hear all the things that keep us from our goals. So if you look at this the way I've got this drawn in the square on top of the square, the idea is you need to get to learning because that's where your dreams are. And when you get to growth, that's where the big stuff is. But between you, comfort, and everything you want is fear. So let's look what's that lack of confidence, judgment. You're afraid people will attack. I know we all go through that. Empathy, disapproval, where people say, yeah, I see where you are, but And they're kind about it, but they don't want you to go there. And let me tell you why they don't want you to go there. Because they can't see themselves there. So it's like, I just don't want you to hurt yourself. I just don't want you to be disappointed. Be disappointed. Let yourself do that. I promise you, in 32 years, I'm 32 years into my career. I started when I was 2. I've been disappointed. Oops, I've gone backwards again. Sorry about that. Oh, I need to work the PowerPoint here. I've been disappointed, but I'm not disappointed now. You get over it and good things happen. So don't let that whole fear area keep you back, keep you away from where you want to go. And I skipped to the, hang on. Oops. So when we talk about learning and growth, that's when you start developing the clarity to build your goals, right? Because it's all started with goals. I'm happy to send this to whomever. It extends your comfort zone when you're growing, because as you learn something, then you realize, oh, I can learn more. I can learn more. You know, I didn't think I could learn that thing, and now I can. You acquire new skills, and you start to develop more creativity. You know, this is not me telling you this. If you think about it, it always happens. As soon as you solve one problem, then you realize, I could probably solve another one. So do that thing. Let yourself get into the growth mindset. Yes, it's scary. But on the other side of scary is your dreams. When you have learned a lot, then you get hungry to learn more. And that is the sweet spot. Okay? You start to figure out, how can we all win? Right? Because you're feeling so good, you want other people to win with you. So you don't get that, well, I'm afraid for you. You're like, hey, it's scary, let's do it. It's a totally different mindset. You start to dream bigger. Because you had a small dream, and you're like, well, maybe I can go further than I thought I could. The reason we're talking about this now, well, Nicole, I'm still in school, or I'm just about to finish. This is essential for you to build your career. Okay? It's essential for you to build your career. It's going to tie together here in this next one. So when I was in school, what did I say, like 3 years ago? No. When I was in school, nobody told me, go get a mentor. And I needed one. I needed one bad. Create connections. I was already doing that. But create more connections. In your case, it's like, how many connections should I create? You should create 2 to 5 per day. Per day. If you're not social, figure it out. I was quiet. You don't have to go out and advertise who you are. You can just create a connection. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, it's nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Nicole. What's your name?
I'm Ayus.
Ayus?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Create a connection. Okay? Why would I do that? He's not going to get me a job. You don't know that. You don't know anything about him yet. We just met. Wait till later. All right? But create 2 to 5 connections every day. First, it just starts with hi. It's like, hey, you want to have lunch? Well, I'd love to have lunch. Where are we going? We're going upstairs. Right? But it starts this way. When you get comfortable meeting people and creating connections, then what happens? It turns into a networking activity. And it gets easy. Hey, have you met Nicole? Well, you've met me now, but I'd like to meet you more closely. Have you met my cousin? Have you met this other student that's in my class? Have you met this creative person that I want you to know that, made me smile? It becomes easier so that when you want to ask someone who's in the profession that you're in, you have a habit of meeting people and connecting with people. And you understand how people look and think. And be genuine about it. I mean, I'm not meeting him in a phase of wanting to get a job, but let me know if you have something. I do know people that need jobs. But at the same time, just know that every time you connect to someone, your world gets bigger, your opportunities get bigger. Their opportunities get bigger because they just met you. 2 to 5 people. You can create connections at things like this, conferences, hackathons, if that's part of your major, competitions. There's all sorts of competitions or collaborations. Tutoring. I started tutoring once I got to my second year in college. You can tutor somebody. If you're a second year, you can tutor someone in their first year. If you're in your third year, you should be tutoring somebody, anybody, on some topic. If there was a class that was extra hard for you and you got past it, offer to tutor someone who is probably going through the same thing that you are. When you tutor, you get better at being in uncomfortable places. Because they're going to ask you a question that you don't know the answer to. You're like, hey, I'll have to figure that out. We'll figure it out together. As you figure that out together, you're collaborating. This all ties in. Stick with me. Mentor if you're ready. And that mentoring could be, you got this. Okay? You got this. If you're third year in whatever your major is in, at least third year, you can mentor someone who's not in their third year. You can even mentor someone who is. Again, when you mentor, you get that authentic relationship, because mentoring requires trust. It requires me to share my story. It requires you to share yours. It requires you to know a little bit more about me. So, think about mentoring. When we have everyone mentoring, there's going to be someone to mentor you. I mentor about 10 people right now. I'm at my absolute limit. But I feel like some of them are graduating and mentoring others. And that's amazing to me. Just absolutely amazing. Beyond your fear, take the initiative. Explore. See what that looks like. See what that looks like for you. It's so important to do that. So let's talk about my 32-year career. I started at Prairie View A&M University. It's a historically black university. That was an adventure for me. I wanted to go to a school that had sports on TV. That was my goal. That was it. So I got a couple of scholarships offered, but Prairie View said, you come here, we'll pay for you. Like, all of me? Even your food. I'm a big eater. I know it doesn't look like, but I am. They're like, yes, we'll even pay for your board and your school. I'm like, I'm there, wherever you are. They were in the middle of nowhere in Texas, by the way. Okay, truly middle of nowhere. So 45 miles northwest of Houston, Texas. Well, where's that? Exactly my point. But I went to Prairie View, and I got an excellent engineering education, computer engineering. While I was at Prairie View, like I said, I tutored. I mentored a few people. And while I was in Austin on a nice long weekend, I walked up to IBM and their beautiful buildings on their campus, and I filled out an application because I was exploring. And, I put my school down and all my stuff, and I turned it in to the nice lady behind the glass, and I walked away and had my nice weekend. And about 2 weeks later, somebody calls me and says, well, we think it's curious. Are you in school? I'm like, yeah, I'm in school. I go to Prairie View. But you applied. I said, well, you had an office. And I wanted to work there. I applied in person. I got 3 interviews, and I got my first internship that way. I didn't know anyone who had done that. I just thought, what's the worst that could happen? I don't work there. That's the worst that could happen for me. But what was the best that could happen for me? At the time, IBM was the #1 company to work for. Do you imagine what it was like as a junior working at the #1 company? I was stupid, that's what. I didn't know anything. So what does that mean? I need to be curious and learning, and I need to accept that this is going to be hard, because everyone that worked with me had been an engineer for at least 10 years. They knew their stuff, and I did not know my stuff. Love learning. So that's why I want you to love learning. And if you are not in a major that you don't love, if you don't love your major, change now. That's your hint. Change now. I started out as an accounting major because I'm good at math. I'm not really good at math. But I'm good at math when I'm writing math. But I saw what accountants do, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. If you're an accounting major, sorry. I changed over to engineering, and I loved it, never turned back. But again, blazing my own trail, doing things differently than I saw others doing, accepting the fact that I was, quote unquote, the dumbest in the room as far as the engineering aspects of it, and being okay with that. Okay? I will also mention the other side of exploring in that particular place was not a lot of people looked like me on that campus. We used to have to wear suits, by the way. I know some of you don't even know what that is, but I used to wear a suit. Now, I was a college student just like you. I didn't have suits. My mom was like, oh, gotta go to the thrift store. Thrift store? Seriously? Yep. It was another adventure. I left IBM, went back to school, and it turned me on. How many of you have interned? When you went to your internship and came back, did you see like what it was like? Did it kind of like turn you on? Like you get it now? Like school, yeah, it's stupid, but I didn't mean school is stupid. You didn't know. Who else raised their hand? What was your experience after you finished your internship? Exhilarating. What was your experience?
Well, I had two, but the first one was like, but the second one was really good.
Yeah, but you got to see like, oh, this is the whole reason we're here.
Yeah.
Right? So that was my experience. You know, even though then I also wasn't the dumbest in the room anymore after the experience. So explore. But explore in something you like now. If you don't like it now, you're not going to like it when it gets hard. So like it now. So this is, I was going to take this slide out, but Michelle said, oh, no, leave it in. So this is a recommendation of how to augment your classes, okay? You should be networking. If you didn't start in year 2 of your degree program, get on it. Find a mentor. What does that look like? You can find a professional mentor, or you can find someone here on campus. The idea is that someone is helping you think beyond what you can think of on your own. That's what a mentor does. They don't have to be in your specialty, but they can be. But the idea is that they are helping you see beyond what you see. And we all need that. About year 2.5, you should be thinking about an internship or some sort of cooperative work. Adding on top of what you're already doing in your networking. It is so much easier to get an internship when you know somebody. But if you didn't start communicating and networking and connecting with people, 2 to 5 people a day, hope you didn't forget that, it's a day. It makes it harder. There are 1 million of you right now. trying to interview. I told one of my mentees that per day, my company, we get 4,000 applications a day. As a hiring manager, I see in my queue 400 new applications a day, and I have one job opening. Again, start networking early. Start connecting early, okay? I mean, it's just being honest. You can do it. Take the step. Be uncomfortable. Year 3, I'd like to see you, just takes a minute. Really like to see you working on projects in your field. Whatever your field is, create projects, post them. What's your field? Create software projects, post them everywhere. Just a little blurb, post it, share it with everyone you know. Like, what? Start anywhere. Nothing's too small. Okay, nothing's too small. So I'm going to deviate. So after being excited, going back to school, charging through, because I had that internship under my belt, a couple of hiring managers from IBM call and say, hey, we heard you had a great internship. When are you looking to graduate? So I started my career at IBM as a full-time employee. I worked there for 2 years, and then I went to AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. They are a direct competitor to NVidia. First time in semiconductor. Brilliant minds, wonderful things, awesome. Austin, Texas. It was one of the best experiences of my young life because I found friends as well as coworkers in that space. People that I'm still friends with today and people that I maintain professional relationships with. And one thing that I never stopped was meeting people, networking, and helping. Okay? Mentoring. So just because you have the job, continue to talk to people, continue to meet, continue to show your stuff. Okay? Continue to do it. Opportunity to move out here to, opportunity to move to Arizona. I took it. Why would you go to that hot place? It wasn't so hot to me then. It was really neat. It was dry heat. Lots of different places that I worked, including the state of Arizona. That was my first tip into government work. Very interesting government work. Some innovation, some dust, so to speak. But really getting an understanding of how our state works, how the state services work, and the contributions that I can make. Nice little plug for our team. The security system, the front end, not the back end, part of the back end that we built for the state of Arizona benefits is still in place. It has been updated so that people can't break in, but the framework that we put in place is still in place. And it's great to see that something that I was a part of building, and I designed how it was going to look, and built that framework. It's great to see in legacy of my career, something that's still in place almost 20 years later. Thank you, Shel. This is my spouse, by the way. So back to your 3.5 years now. 3.5 years, definitely intern. Do your best. Intern anywhere. Beg if you have to. But if you've done some really great networking and some really good publishing of your projects, not as much begging has to happen here because you have a lot of people advocating for you. And I know that's not everyone in this room that's the space you're in or the space you're in. It's totally fine. You can start today. Okay? You can start today. You should definitely be mentoring and tutoring somebody at the 3.5 year mark. It helps you grow and it helps you understand what your blind spots are. And we can't see them without really challenging ourselves. Year 4, and I'm assuming you're also going to class during all of this, by the way, and still having a good time. Networking, projects, and interviews. So at some of the top schools, I do have the pleasure to work with you guys as well as some of the other top schools in California and in the country. They start interviewing in their second year. They just interview, they practice interviewing. You cannot rattle some of these students. You can ask them anything. And if they don't know the answer, they've come up with comfortable ways of saying, I don't know the answer to that. And that in and of itself is mastery. I can interview anywhere. I could care less because I'm comfortable answering for myself. And I want each of you who has not mastered interviewing, which I know you're not professional interviewers, but you need to master it for yourself. When you go into an interview, you need to understand what you know about your craft and what you don't know about your craft. And just say, I don't know, but I'd love to learn. And if that is an important part of me getting the job, I promise you, I will learn how to do that thing. I would love the opportunity to work with you. Okay? So if you are not in this space, fret not. Because this is where we were going, you and I. So this is a lot of what I talked about, except for that middle spot. This is the game changer in the middle. Okay? Hi, my name is Nicole Magnus. I have over 30 years in my career in 5 different industries. One commonality is networking people and great projects for success. I would love to work with you. How are you today? I have a million elevator speeches. It depends on the audience. It depends on the elevator I am in. Get comfortable with your elevator speech. Let's do a different one. Hi, I'm Nicole Magnus. I'm an avid biker, runner, anything outdoors. I love to do that. I want to let you know that I'm the kind of person that likes to walk on the beach and look over the cliff and say, we shouldn't be doing this. You want to do something? Get comfortable with who you are and your elevator speeches. Okay? If you want them to know about your degree, and your specialty, and your skill professionally, great. If you want them to know about your hobbies, get one together for that too. After a while, you'll get comfortable just doing one on the fly. It helps you if you network. It helps you if you communicate. Let's go back to 2 to 5 people a week. Is she serious? I don't know. I said it 3 times. All right? And it could just be meeting someone. It's not, you don't have to give your resume to everybody. Okay? It's just meeting, getting used to networking and meeting people. presentations. Every new hire should know how to put together a PowerPoint presentation. If you do not know how to do it, please, please get on YouTube, talk to somebody. Learn how to put a presentation together. We write a proposal for every software project that we do. We write a proposal. You can have an idea, I don't care. I want it written down. What's the problem statement? What's the history behind what has been tried before? What is your solution? What are the risks? Who are your advocates? Right? Am I off on this, Dean? It will differentiate you if you can write a proposal, if you can present your work. And if you go back to where I was before, you've been doing your projects, you know how to present. Just put it in a different format. If you've been meeting and introducing yourself to 2 to 5 people every day, this is going to be easy for you. It all adds up. If you are shy, I was very shy. My mom would say, don't just stand there, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Nicole. What? Get out here. I'm out here. I'm out here. I was not this person previously. I found a place that I was not comfortable, and I stepped up. So you can do it too. You don't have to be in front of a room like me, but whatever your challenge is, how can you confront it? Why is it a big enough reason for me? Because I don't want you wondering, are you good enough? I don't want you wondering, did my education matter? Of course it mattered, and you did great work in school, but what's next? Should come back. Oh, okay. Write letters to people in your network. What is she talking about? I'd like you to write a letter to every person that you learned from and say thank you, that you can get a hold of. I have instructors that I have written letters to, and it's been very powerful. Powerful for me. This is not about them. Realizing all the people that I learned from. So you're in school now, write letters to people who helped get you here. Write letters to instructors you already had. This helps you with your ability to communicate in written form. Because I can text really well, but texting really well does not help you build your career. But if you write a letter, type it. That's what I really mean. Type a letter and say thank you. Or whatever it is that you have to say, let them know where you are. If they're an educator, they care. Trust me, they care. Or some sort of mentor, someone, if you have a church that you went to or some community support system, they care. It's powerful. You will never look at your growth the same. All of this leads to finding your people. Your people. How do we find our people? It's by being real. Okay? She keeps saying being real. If I wasn't honest with you about who I am, I wouldn't have all the great friends that I do. I would not have this connection to even be here. Because a good friend of mine who I work with said, hey, there's a panel over at SJSU. You want to get on it with me? I was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's like, no, I don't want to do that thing. He said, okay, I'll see you there at 6:30. That's how I met Dean of Engineering, Shore Gorman. And it changed me, because I realized right here in my own backyard, I could make a bigger difference. Find your people. That means you have to be raw, you have to be real. You have to let some people in. But when you do that, it helps you in all of these areas. This is what I built my career on. And for those who are in the room who have already built their careers, Christine, I'm going to call you out. Catherine, I'm going to call you out. Is there anything on here that you cannot relate to in building your career?
No, it all resonates with me. I wish I heard about this years ago.
What do you think, Cheryl? Anyone else? Brandy, you're back there.
I wish I had this in
I've always found this quote really powerful because it's true. After I left the state of Arizona, went back into the private sector, made more money, that was nice. Went back to IBM, enjoyed it. I was a consultant instead of an employee. The thing about being a consultant versus employee, you don't have to go to any of the employee meetings, so you can just keep working. The downsides are that the community is different because they know that you're not fully invested. You can leave any moment. I did end up leaving, but not because I didn't want to be a part of the community. I found a better opportunity at HP, which I spent 8.5 years at HP doing what I consider amazing things. I will tell you that at the peak, HP had almost 300,000 employees, one of the largest companies in the world. It's a big company. It's really hard to move a huge company like that, but I can definitely say that I made a difference there. Some things that I learned at HP, which is where you hear me start in LinkedIn, is I learned how to be in front of a customer who was angry, super angry. You know, not because of us, but they had had a bad experience with, would you say, a competitor. And so they came in the room angry. And as a well-developed computer engineer by then, a person who could write proposals, a person who had been networking for years and years and years, and a person who'd been showing empathy all this time, we found out that I was really good at managing those types of customers and finding that spot that we could find common ground to stop feeling negative and arguing and figure out, how can we solve these things? How can we make you happy again? I don't bring that up to toot my horn. I want you to think, as you move forward in your career, what will be your specialty? Because I was thinking it was going to be related to math. Okay? But it turned out people. We're not people in engineering. It was a twist I wasn't expecting. So I want you to know that no matter how good or bad things are, it will change, and embrace that change, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. When I got laid off from Hewlett Packard, I didn't feel great about it. Who does? Right? We had 300,000 people, and they decided that that was too many. It was okay because I started my own business. And from that, I learned more than I have ever learned ever. Because when you own your own business, you have to wear like 9,000 hats. We did amazing work. I would never change it. I would never change it. It was hard. But I would not be this person standing here today. I would not be at NVidia had I not opened my own business. I would not be able to enjoy this conversation and share this with you if I had not done that. So I'm closing up with, believe your dreams are worth the challenges that you will face. Accept criticism as an opportunity to learn more and to refine you in your craft, whatever it may be. Surround yourself with your people. Like-minded, a little not like-minded, but still interesting. Totally good. And explore yourself inwardly. Look for opportunities to change yourself and give that to others. Are you glad you came? I hope you learned something. I hope you are able to take something with you. I will definitely make this available to you, the slide deck. You, as you are right now, have everything that you need to be successful. Okay? Everything you need. Just go do it. Thank you.